some stories are heard, others become legendary. Welcome to the Becoming Legendary podcast, hosted by Rita Valente, the visibility architect and the fame activator. Real stories, raw conversations, legendary impact.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Rita Valente, and this is Becoming Legendary. And I keep saying this in each podcast. Why becoming? Sometimes we are already. And I think it's the case of Nina. Hi, Nina. How are you doing? Welcome. Welcome. Let me start by a loaded question. Who are you?
Who am I? Well, my name is Nina Thiara, and I'm a personal growth coach. And what I do is I support women from stop overfunctioning in relationships and help them reconnect to themselves so they can start living life on their terms. And I'm going to share a bit about my story.
Please.
And then we can connect from there. Okay. It's 1989, and I'm at my parents' house, and there's a knock at the door. My father opens the door with a big smile on his face as the boy walks into my home with his entire family to meet me. Me, 21, I'm in the kitchen making chai tea like a good Indian girl. As everyone sits at our dining room table to discuss if the boy is a suitable match for me. He has been scattered from a family member, and my father was eager to give me away. I sat there across the table and made small talk with a complete stranger I should consider marrying. I don't remember much of that day, but that was the start of the process of my arranged marriage. Flash forward 6 months later, we get married. Within 5 years, we have kids. And that is when my symptoms of depression, anxiety, stomach issues, exhaustion began to be my new normal. I remember being at home for an entire year, having to drag myself out of bed to bring my children to school, to come back home after forcing myself to eat something, then back to bed until it was time for me to pick them back up. I was off work for over a year because my body was shutting down and I had no capacity. My husband would look at me, Nina, it's all in your head, and said, pull yourself together. I started going to a naturopath, doing coaching, and everything I could do to feel better, as I didn't know what was wrong with me. After a year or so, I started to feel better, assert my boundaries in my relationships with my husband. And I started working out more and having new hobbies. I could tell he didn't like the changes I was making. And after a while, we stopped sleeping in the same bed. I married the wrong man, and I don't want to be married anymore. Now, as I look back, my symptoms from overfunctioning, people-pleasing, and putting myself last, I had little to no connection with who I was and what I really wanted until I did the inner work that changed everything. And now today, I help women stop overfunctioning relationships and help them reconnect to themselves so they can start living life on their terms.
Very. I was going to say beautiful. I don't know if it's the best word, but inspirational, because I grew up all over the world. So I grew up in Africa, and I traveled to India thousands of times as a DJ, and I am lucky enough to cross paths with many different cultures, but the concept of arranged marriage is something then I I I could not imagine, and I married many times, because many times, and I understand where it comes the origin, because I did get curious, and I understand then if you have a good matchmaker in certain ways can make sense because they really deeply analyze the potential of and what is being married like. It's falling in love is one thing. I'm telling you this because I have a lot of not necessarily the best
Okay.
experience.
Right.
But I deeply respect cultures and
Mhm.
all the ways. Like no one is right and no one is wrong, and it's is always something to learn, to
Mhm.
listen from. I never had the opportunity to really had someone in front of me who could share that. So thank you for that um, experience. Then is adding for sure, feeling the vibration of your voice and listen was very powerful. Um, we women, for many different reasons, you in special because that was a decision and was not yours. But we in general, in special a certain generation, I don't know how it's going to be the next ones, but we lived our life to give, to be the best mom, whatever that means. Even if we did not had good examples or we did not had examples. For example, my mom died, I was really small. To be the best wives, to be the best cook really well, to have all, to give, to give, to give, to give, to give. And I can tell you, I had a mental breakdown 5 years ago almost, where I when I did spend, I was a teenager mom, so I was mom with 18. I had 5 kids with
Wow.
different marriage. I had international career. I took my life to the limit. I don't remember to sleep, like between all the things. That is the reason probably I'm living alone in a mountain right now. But this the thing is, and I have been doing a lot of inner work as well, is I had no, and there is a story that I tell, then is very, it's very simple, but at the same time it have a lot of meaning. I fly to Mexico to evaluate the possibility to move my family to Mexico because it was a big family. We're living
Mhm.
in Cannes, was very
Mhm.
expensive, and I
Mhm.
was the only one working. Oh, that is another add-on. Then I adore to add to my relationships is being the only one working. And I will go to Walmart to go shopping for food, and I have this moment where I look to the car, the supermarket car, or how do you call it? Like the little, and I look and I think, what do I want?
Mm.
What do I want to eat? Like what? All my life I bought things because he wants, like between the children and the husbands, and I had no clue what I did want to eat.
So it sounds like you were living on autopilot.
100%. And
100%. Yeah. You
and
were
in
living
a
on autopilot.
pure addiction to surviving mode. I was the typical phoenix, the one who grow and makes miracles, and then when everything is quiet, explode every single thing and goes to the ashes and become the survivor. And that is terrible. That is terrible because you get used to live on chaotic.
And I could so relate to that myself. Now you share that your story with me is I lived on autopilot and my story took a shift because I had all these symptoms, anxiety, depression, stomach issues.
Me too.
Yeah. You name it, I had it. So, and I had them as a child, and I didn't connect the dots till I hit rock bottom. Like I was trying to find out what was wrong with me. I worked with some other mentors, quick fixes, went to this workshop, went to this retreat, so much stuff. Read this book. It wasn't until 2006 where everything started coming together for me, where I met this woman who dealt with women's health, and a friend of mine who I disconnected with. She parted her way, and I was I still remember the day. It was about June or July of 2006. I walked into her office with my bag of supplements that I was taking because I was told to get that, my blood work and everything. I went and I'm like, okay, well, this is it. I might as well give this a shot because I've done everything else. So I went in, and after that, it was all history. She said, you do the work with me, you'll be symptom free. So first she said it's a long journey. Had she said it was going to take 19 years, I would have probably said, bye bye. But she said it's going to be a long journey. You'll be no, first said you become symptom free. It'll be a long journey. You'll live the life you wanted. Your kids will become like you, and you'll find your soul purpose. At the time, the only thing resonated was I wanted to be symptom free.
Mhm.
Okay. And that was a journey that happened from span of 2006, I would say about middle of 2025, that
Mhm.
I really connected the dots to everything I'd like to actually feeling like I had done the work, and I connected things, but I was also had a healing crisis. So I had three major healing crises because the body takes on things we suppress, they have to come out.
Oh,
So in the
and
medical system, I call them symptom patchers up. But that's all they know. I did that too. Do this quick fix, take this medication. I did it all. Okay. So that was short-term relief. So once I started doing her work, and the work that I did was actually the gist of it I did now that I look back, all of it was learning how to feel my emotions, process my emotions, learning how to have effective and healthy boundaries with people, and also processing my core programming or patterns, which was never taught to me as a child or as I was growing up.
Mhm.
Okay. It was just something that culture, my family just knew. That's all they knew. See, there's no blame. And that's the beauty of the work I did was because before I did the work, I was always blaming. There was
Mhm.
that blame part. They did that to me. And the work I did was phenomenal because it it's not a quick fix, and she makes you work with you. So she doesn't give you all the answers. And even as a coach, when I'm with a woman, I don't give you all the answers. I probe. So she basically probed. At first, I thought, oh God. But there was a part of my journey that I wanted to stop with when I had my first healing crisis in 2010. I collapsed first time with major depression. And I said, I want to do this anymore. So I
Mhm.
remember having a call with her, and she said, most people don't stop here. And I'm like, and if you do, your symptoms will still remain. I'm like, okay. So she got me back on the roller coaster. Here we go again. So that part, I think that healing journey, she goes, this too shall pass, but we don't know when. 9 months, there's no time limit. Okay. Of course, we want, when am I going to start feeling better? Right. So that took me on, I would say a good year I was off from work.
Mhm.
Right. In the meantime, I had to function. I had children to look after. I had a job. I took extra time off work because I just couldn't function at work anymore. So I was left at home. And I guess that distraction still, I got out of it by distracting. I was busy. Yes, I may have felt a little bit. I did some other modality work, Reiki, just to get out of it. And I think just of the work she was trying to do now, that, as I talk to people, as I learn more about myself, because the learning never stops, they say.
Yeah.
um, I learned that just the work which she was trying to get to is for me to actually sit with my emotions, slow down in life and feel
Slow down.
and listen. And I didn't know how. I just wanted to get through this healing crisis and get better, which I did with her help and I did get better.
Everyone wants that. Like when you decide and it's time to heal, there is good news and bad news. And
Oh yeah.
the bad news is you will never stop. You will never stop working in yourself. And there is always But I believe what you are saying. I'm a minimalist by choice because I am not attached to material things and I love to travel. As as
Yeah,
everyone,
you feeling.
like nobody will tell that. And so I own a computer. Like everything that I own gets on a backpack and a little trolley. And and then I allowed myself to live on the mountain right now. I don't know how many feet, but it's like 3,000 meters high and in the middle of Colombia where nobody expects. And I am on this process and I'm here. This mountain is magical. It's like
Yeah.
under a full crystal of quartz crystal, and like the phones charge more here. And you have a lot of
Really?
animals who always come to visit. And
Oh,
but
right.
for me, my biggest fear in life was to be alone. And
Mm,
so it looks like I'm Sagittarius, so I take things to the extreme, and I'm alone on a mountain where my next neighbor is like 1 kilometer away.
wow.
And I don't have a car, so I need to walk and so though like 8 miles each time I want to go and buy groceries. But in this moment in my life, it's about learning then my biggest fear can be a superpower and the silence and not numbing myself because I went through a I don't want to say an addiction, but because I many times I choose wrong partners to balance the energetics of the house, I found myself on the last couple of years drinking.
Mm,
And in the moment that I'm alone, I don't have that need. So it was clear for me, and one of the work that I did was to balance the level of intensity because I was not my the people around me were not taking the best. It was very weird and energetic. So being on silence, being not numb, and listen to myself for the first time, and like
mm.
putting myself. I was always the saver. I was like, what you need, I'm going and I save you. What always very impulsive, always, and always thinking about the other ones because I did not want them to leave me because I never
Right.
did want to be
Yeah,
alone.
yeah. So you're,
Now,
yeah, people pleasing, distracting by drinking, and women do
or
that.
working, overworking. I'm a
Overworking,
workaholic. So
overexercising. There's so many. I did it all, right? And that distracts us from feeling. I did it all my life. Just on autopilot, go to the gym. Mine was shopping it away. I wasn't a drinker. I was shopping it away. So buy the most expensive clothes to look good. So externally I looked, but internally I was still suffering. So I get that quick fix and I feel better, but externally I was looking good, but internally I was feeling awful. So it was when I did the emotional work where I started really diving deep into myself. And like you said, the inner work never stops. You think, oh my God, even now as I venture into business, I'm learning from you today. I'm learning stuff that I'm not the only one. And there is ways we can find ways to heal ourselves. It can be.
I think I had the privilege on the last 4 years of my life to work majority with women starting their online business
Mhm,
with ages 45 plus,
mhm.
who have a lot of challenge many times because one is tech, the other is social media, the other is imposter syndrome many times, how I get paid, how it's all that thing. So I prime myself to know how to give them the visibility and alignment, because now as well what is going on is what we are talking on off was every single thing that we do with AI looks so perfect. But for me,
Oh,
this kind of interaction is the real deal. And in the future, in 1, 2 years, this will have 300 times more value than any other thing. So people need
Yeah, that
to,
human connection, right? Is
yeah.
so
And
because
it's I was a business coach for a long time, and I realized then I don't want to be a business coach. I prefer to have someone to say, "Look, I want to achieve this. Let's work together." Because what happens is I can tell you what works for me. That doesn't mean it's aligned with your energetics.
no.
And there is where the high tickets business coaches and all of that get lost. And do this and do that and this. If you do this, you make this amount of money. Doesn't work like that.
Overfunctioning again. We're overfunctioning, and I'm so blessed that I have a coach, and I didn't have to hunt for too much. But I'm so glad I have a coach that tells us because we do. I remember we had a call last week, and she checks in with us. So how's everybody feeling today? And I'm like, I'm in the messy middle. I'm in the messy middle. So she says, instead of getting overwhelmed, which, it's funny, this is what my entire journey was. Why I was overwhelmed, overfunctioning. Here I'm doing it again. So we need constant reminders. So not only in our lives, personal lives, but even in business, right? Having done the inner work. Okay, she says, slow down, write down what you're going to do for that day, and just focus on one thing at a time. Not like, oh, I've got to post, I got to do this. And yeah, so it's a game going down to the inner work and we bring it into our business.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something about posting because visibility is my playground. It is exactly that. Like no one needs to post every single day. We just need to make few posts with really value and really align with us, and that
100%.
is the key. Because like if we get crazy following the algorithms, you are not going to attract the women who resonate with you because we vibrate on the same this
What a
chill
great, it's all about
energy.
vibration. It's all
Like
about vibration.
I don't care. I even though I don't even though I work with social media, I don't care with social media. Or I mean, like it is a way for us to connect and to share, like we are sharing your story right now. I love to do my in our magazines because I do this thing, Denise. I'm really good at extract the story and the
Mhm.
narrative. And normally my people do the three magazines together. So they do the United States, the Legendary Edition, and they do the version of the Arabia, where is Dubai and etc. How can we talk to different women about it? And then we do one in Spanish, then it's about Mexico and like having all that narrative. And on this moment for me, there is we should sell, and I'm doing sell like this, honesty, hope, laughs, and confidence. And the sense then there is other people who are going through the same, and it's hard and it's not easy and the world is upside down. And I always say then I don't sell, I give, and people buy from me whatever I'm doing. But I think the simple fact that we are sharing this conversation, there is other women who, what happens a lot is there is other women who feel like I feel, for example, and they are asking, oh my God, to me, I did marry with who I did love and went like this. I'm listening to Nina and I'm like, wow. So bring on what you do now and what can people connect with you, what they can, what the experience they can, what is your, give us more
Give me
because it's
more.
very inspirational.
Okay, give us more. So I've already shared my arranged marriage and
Mhm.
how I was so unaware of who I was. And and this work isn't taught to us, unfortunately, especially if our parents aren't familiar with this work. They have their own trauma or subconscious programming or childhood trauma, belief system, religious, ancestral stuff, generational stuff, all that stuff. Most parents have it. in their lineage.
Mm-hmm.
So the work I did was, and I happened to just bump into this modality. I guess that was what the universe wanted, or I was looking for healing, and the universe said, well, here you go. You want healing? I'm going to give you the top of the top healing. So that journey, led me from 2006 to 220 to mid 225, where I actually had my spiritual awakening, I would say it, or awakening, or really, woke
Mm-hmm.
up to the real me. Going back to when I was doing my work, or the inner work, I said to my mentor one day, to my mentors, I have several of them, um, what am I doing here? And basically, I was told, I'm helping you become the real you. So most women today, and including me, I did it until, in my late 40s, we have a mask because we're told to function with this mask from our parents because that's all they knew. There's no blame here. And then you end up, you're, they say from age 1 to
7.
5 or 7, something like that, that we take on the program from society, from our parents, wherever it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
We take that on. And in my situation, my father was the only child.
Okay.
So I had no cousins, and my sister was 2 years younger than me. My brother came 10 years later. I didn't have anyone in the family to show me any differently. Had I cousins, they were doing differently, or talk to them. Hey, how cousins talk, or we weren't that way. I had no one. So basically, I ran on autopilot all my life until I became self-aware.
And now, for what I understand, you are guiding other people through that process, right?
So I'm guiding women. So as a personal growth coach, I'm guiding women to stop over functioning in relationships and helping them connect themselves so they can live life on their terms. And how that's done is making a woman aware. So if I work with somebody, how I make, okay, write me down your story. What
Mm-hmm.
happened? That's one of my gifts. I'm an empath, high intuitive. So write me down your story. From that story, I extract information. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
ask them, oh, so that happened. How did you feel there? Okay. And because we're so, again, programmed, we don't have the awareness. That's what happened to me in my story. Don't have that awareness. I'm able to dig deep, ask them questions. I'm not going to give them the answers. I want them to get their aha moments. And one of the things I remember my coaches told me to do was journalize. Man, I was like, journalize of what? And I would honestly say, Rita, it was 2024, 25. Bang, light went on. Oh, this is why we journalize. Because things come out more when we journalize, right? Because when you're
100%.
learning,
I
yeah,
adore. It's one of my
I
favorite
love
things.
it now.
I'm obsessed. I have like books, not books, like notebooks everywhere. It was like I still have them. You have an amazing story, and in my experience on this of sharing inspirational stories and people who are legendary, what you are saying then you do is a little bit what goes on when we do our covers of legendary is exactly that. It's me extracting your story and the way then we position and we share
Mhm.
and and showing to other women then if you can do it, they can do it. Makes sense.
100%. Healing is possible any stage of your life. It's interesting. I have children, um, and they're older now, but they're on their own, and one's married and one's still single, and they still don't understand my story. All they know is mom was well. We have an amazing relationship. Another thing she told me when I was doing the work was, "You heal, your children heal." I see me and my boys are busy. Boys are boys. They're busy with their lives, doing their stuff, but we have a really great connection. So when we heal when we heal ourselves, we heal our children, we heal the lineage. That's what's so amazing with the work that I did. That you can heal yourself, which is your main priority, but you heal your family, and
You
then
are
you go out
giving
and
you are
help other
giving
people.
me goosebumps
Oh
because
no.
no, I'm going to tell you. I have children that are adults, and from a long story, then it sounds terrible if I tell like this, but have explanation. I was not in contact for, I think the last time we had contact was 2 years ago, and by magic, as soon I arrived to the mountain, many funny things did happen. I used to live on this mountain 2 years ago, and I had a dog. Then I stay on the mountain with a friend who lives in the other side of the village. And the first day, then I wake up on this house. She was on the door, so she could smell me. And then my son reached out to me, and you are 100% right. We need to be many times the black sheep, the one who do the work and do the what looks like insanity, what she's doing, what she's divorcing, why she's moving, but it needs to be done. And many times is a big sacrifice, but it's a journey, and stories don't need to be perfect. Now, what you okay, how it is to observe other women going through the same moments than you cross already. How is how is the how is how do you feel about what is your mission? Can I tell you mission? Because it sounds like a mission.
Oh, you want to share my mission, or you want me to
Yes,
share?
yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
I think after doing such deep inner work and having healed myself, and people ask me, do you not get triggered? I said, I
Oh,
have a
interesting question.
yeah, I have a lot of empathy for people. I see a lot. I'm also a caregiver on the side of the elderly, and they teach me a lot. And I got into that by fluke because I left my job with healthcare for 20 years, and I ventured out to that, right?
Mhm,
So the elderly teach me a lot about living life to the fullest, and I see a lot of stuff, and I think, okay, that's where it came from. So going back to the woman, I feel a lot of empathy when they share their story, and I don't get triggered, but I learn a lot too. Like the learning never stops,
mhm,
either you, from my clients, to other workshop, or whatever it may be. The learning never stops. Inner work, it's such a, they talk about such a big, deep hole.
mhm,
Not going to stop until, we're done on this planet, right? So yeah, a lot of empathy when I see women. I'm like, yeah, that was me. And I'm able to relate to them so quickly. And I think, I find that whoever's ready, their time is ready. Um, they will come to me. So like I said, in 2006, I guess my soul was ready. There's a saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I
oh,
strongly
100%.
believe that happened to me. And
Oh,
you just strong. Yeah, the woman that helped me start my journey healing work, um, she was, I remember I was working with another person, a mentor. She used to work under him.
okay.
And it was so interesting, was even more powerful for me is because I was probably one of her first client or so that she started working with me on that level while she was 4 years into this. She was working with another mentor on a similar modality she was helping me heal. So she wasn't feeling the hottest. So she was 4 years ahead of me. I connect the dots very late in that. She wasn't feeling the greatest when she was helping me. So I feel so blessed that, hey, when I'm helping people, I can empathize with them and see where they're at, but also recognize that, hey, I was there too. And it didn't feel good because the work that we do, emotions and bringing them up to the surface is not going to feel good. And I think that's why my journey took so long. And sometimes people say, why did it take so long? And I'm like, kind of laugh it off. I'm a slow learner. But we don't know how long it's going to take. But had I not gone on the journey, you know, what would I do? Had she told me it's going to take 18, 19 years, I would have said, I'm jetting out of here, right? But
Of
she never
course.
did. I'm so glad she didn't do that. And I stayed on the journey, and here I am, almost 20 years later. And I'm
Mm.
teaching stuff. I didn't know I was going to be teaching it. I had no idea. All I know, yeah, I'm going to find my soul purpose. But that only connected when I was able to connect myself. Even then, there's that resistance of, oh, do people really care about what I have to share? We have that resistance, like we're not important enough. Story's not important enough.
Th-
We justify our
That is the
healing.
importance of what we are doing right now, because here are two women from totally different backgrounds who can totally relate. And I was telling you on the beginning of the call, then for some reason I attract women who want more for them. They arrive to the moment they say, I want to create something for me. Then is going to serve others. We still want to serve others, but it's for them. And it's very beautiful because it's normally around 45, 50. I had a client setting up her first six figures when she was 73. And I think it's amazing and
Age is
beautiful.
a number. Age is a
And,
number.
it is so needed, so needed. I'm 45. So needed. Then we talk about this is my age, this is my story. I'm here. Look at me. Don't. I'm curious to know how how you'd like the world to see you, like, or your work, or what kind of um, how do you see yourself spreading your message?
How do I see myself? I'm not quite
Yeah, like
understanding that.
how do you want to reach more women on with your story? Even if they don't necessarily go and work with you, do you want to reach them with your story? Because I'm on this side, and I was like, this is a story that I would like to read one day in the morning when I feel terrible and
Oh,
say, wow, I it's hope.
yeah. So right now, people can, they'll see me on this podcast from out there. There's other podcasts I've done. I share them on my Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
So under Nina Tiara, you can reach me there.
Mm-hmm.
And I also offer a 30-minute complimentary exploration session, I call it, where we can go into see if we're a good fit to go into your story, what's happening in your life, and see if we're a good fit to work together. And you can
Mm-hmm.
reach me right now on Facebook under Nina Tiara, and we can go from there. Yeah. And in the future, I will be doing talks. I'll be posting on that page. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Before we end, a message to your younger self.
I love that question. Message to my younger self. Yeah. I wish I'd known, like, and again, this is all hearsay. I wish I know what emotions were. It's not something, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and the one thing I got out of the podcast, I know this woman, um, was this inner work is never taught in schools.
No.
No, it's like because it wasn't taught to our parents. How are we going to learn? Because we are going to learn through our parents. It's getting modeled somewhere, right? And we don't learn it. So, message to my younger self would be, I wish I knew better. And it's okay. That was the level of consciousness I was at. And that's what I knew. And now I'm at a different level of consciousness. I will never forget what I went through. But yeah, I think that's my message is, it's okay. You did the best you could with what you had. And I feel so
And look
blessed.
at me now, right? Look at
Yeah.
me now.
Look
Look.
at me now. I feel blessed to get on the other side. I had that much discipline because healing is not. linear. We don't know. There's going to be ebbs and flows. There were months and like good couple of years I felt amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt amazing. But then there were times where the healing crisis where, ebbs and flows, where your body's got to process the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's so much. We could have hours and hours of this conversation.
Hours and hours. I'm going to say bye to you properly, but now I'm going to say bye to these beautiful people. Uh, my beautiful people, thank you so much for being here with me and Nina. It is a pleasure to bring stories, ideas, and to share all what we have been sharing across 3 countries, 2 continents with legendary editions of magazines. And as well, we are starting a new part of on our work. Then is if someone wants to have their website done, reach out to us. We create your website, and if you like it, then we talk about it. We have great like turnaround time of 72 hours, and is beautiful the work that we are doing. And I'm really, really focused this year in spreading message and giving tools so everyone can support each other. We need community. We need to know that we are not alone. Nina, I'm going to say about you in a second properly. But for now, thank you so much for being here with us. We are going to share all your links, and your story is beautiful, and you are already legendary.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you for having me. It's great.
Thank you.